Why? What's the harm in giving him 25, maybe 30 minutes? What's the reasoning for that?
They're saving him for the finals because Brad simulated the entire season out, and if you follow these simulations, they're in the finals.
Don't worry, guys. We're the 6th seed right now, but in 2K, we're gonna beat everyone in the playoffs. Don't worry, we're fine right now. Yeah, awesome. God. Thanks, Brad. Glad to hear that.
And so Robert Williams not playing, like, it has to go on, like, Brad, right? Or like, who do you blame that on?
Who else is gonna? You can't blame that on the players. You can't blame that. You can't blame Rob for not giving himself minutes. You know what I mean? There's only one guy in charge
unless
of that.
Brad's like, hey, get in there, and he's like, not today.
You know
coach.
What, Coach? 5
we
more
just
minutes.
Don't see it. Yeah, we
5
just don't
more
see
minutes.
It.
Yeah, no. You have to blame Brad. I mean, he's the one that's giving the minutes out, and he's not giving them to Rob. So
I feel like if we're talking about the players, the coach, Brad and GA and Danny, I feel like most of the blame has to go on Brad, in my opinion. We started 8-3 without Kemba. Clearly, this team has talent. We see it in Robert Williams. We see it in Peyton Pritchard. Other guys who aren't getting minutes, and there's nothing else we can do that's other than just sit around and watch Brad Stevens waste these guys' time.
Play Grant Williams over Robert Williams.
Frustrating. A lot of the Celtics' problems, if you look back to the root, it comes back to Brad Stevens, and it's just concerning. I don't know what else to say.
You're right, because when you think about it too, I talked about those layers and whatnot, and we've all kind of harped on it. Who's in the middle of it? Like, who is supposed to be? If you just look at this from like afar, who's supposed to be the middleman between your GM who puts together to the team and then the players on how they play? A coach is the definition of that middleman. Yep. So you can blame, hey, Danny didn't construct the best team, but I would argue that in a sense that we have 2 of the best young guys. That's not even an argument. Like 2 of the best young guys in the league right now, they should be able to beat. I'm not saying that's a championship contending worthy, but they should be able to whoop up on the Wizards.
Better than what they are now.
Whoop the Pelicans. Yeah. They have that talent. So that's where I throw out Danny didn't construct the best roster. Okay, when you lose to the Wizards, you lose to the Pelicans, you lose to the Knicks, and there's tons of other losses here. That's when it's like, well, guess what? You didn't need the best roster. You have a better roster than that team, and things just went awry. When you get into and we're nowhere near that point right now. When you get into we can't get over the hump and beat the Lakers or the Clippers or the Bucks, Sixers, whoever. That's when you can start saying, Danny Ainge, you probably need to build a better team. But when you're losing to crap teams, I don't want to hear it about like building the team because your team's already built to beat those teams.
Listen, the Celtics have more wins against plus 500 teams than the Sixers and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference. If you look at the losses that they had, all these frustrating losses are against teams that they should be beating. I mean, I did this the other day. They're 15-16 right now. This is when they were 15-15. If you took away, I said there were 10 losses this season that were like games that they easily should have won, but they gave up. Something happened. Let's just say 8 of those games we won. We would be 23-7. We'd be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference by a few games. And it's like this team, like they have potential to be good. I'm not saying championship contender either, but this team isn't constructed like a bottom of the barrel teams that we're losing to. If we're losing to good teams too, like, you say whatever you want, but we're losing against bad teams in frustrating fashion. It's just, that's not on, I feel like you can't really blame Danny Ainge for constructing the team at that point. You got to blame the coach. You got to blame the players for not playing as hard as they have been. And, that's what we've seen, that they're just not playing with heart or hustle. I feel like half the games I've seen in the month of February, it's like they just go out there and they're just going through the motions. It's like you can't expect to win when you do that. It's impossible to.
I feel like we've talked about this before. That might stem back to Brad as well, with players not being motivated enough. If he doesn't fire them up in the huddle, and also we talked about the players going into every game. They don't know if they're going to play 5 minutes or 20 minutes. So it's just hard to motivate yourself. Hard to get in a routine. Try to be better every night. Seeing how you progress when
seriously
you don't know if you're even going to play.